Meet an archaeologist. Rice University Professor Susan Keach McIntosh and her fellow Professor Roderick McIntosh have carried out excavations at Gengeno in Mali, which they discovered was West Africa's oldest known city. Question: when and why did you decide to become an archaeologist? Answer: I'd always been interested in old things and Greek mythology, and I studied Latin. But it wasn't until I was a college freshman in a survey course in anthropology with a wonderful professor that I found out what I really loved. That decided me, and I started studying archaeology and then going for field work. Question: what special challenges have you faced while working in Africa? Answer: it is, of course, difficult to do a large-scale excavation in a remote place that doesn't have stores that sell things you might be missing or need. It requires a great deal of planning for supplies for quite a few people and situations. The climate, for people who aren't used to it, is very challenging. It's hot, and you sometimes get ill, but not very often, thankfully. The lack of stores, roads, and planes, and the fact that you have to drive everywhere, it's very challenging but extremely rewarding. Question: what was your most exciting moment so far while working in Africa? Answer: a lot of field work is very boring. It's just digging and sieving the earth. Most of the hard work of figuring out what it is you found comes later when you've left the field and look at all the information you've collected. So for me, my most exciting moment came during one of those times after we had left the field when we got our first radiocarbon dates from the site of Gengeno. We never expected it to be so old. It was at least 500 years older than we thought. Then it kept getting older. Every time we got back more radiocarbon dates from farther down, it got older and older, which was truly thrilling. Question: what work continues today at Gengeno? Answer: today, there is no active archaeology going on at Gengeno. The main work now is the excellent work that the Tour mission at Gen does in preserving the site, introducing it to tourists, and making sure that it is protected from looters. Question: are you involved in particular specialty areas within archaeology? Answer: I am. Not only do I study pottery, but I study human skeletons buried at Gengeno. They tell us a lot about what kinds of lives people lived, whether they did a lot of hard work or whether they had easy lives, whether they had a lot of cavities. As it turns out, people in Gengeno were pretty healthy. How do you work with people from other disciplines to study certain findings? Answer: I work very closely with archaeobotanists, people who study plant remains from archaeological sites. That's a very interesting field because you can learn a lot by finding out what kinds of plants were there, including what kinds of plants people ate. I'm very interested in when people domesticated certain plants, especially cereals, and how quickly they became an important part of their diet. Between the hunting and gathering period and the development of agriculture, people's diets really were transformed. I'm interested in studying that transformation and how long it took to occur. Question: how do you prepare for your field trips to Africa? Answer: one thing I do is to lift weights to keep in shape so that I don't hurt myself when lifting buckets out of the pits. One of the main things that we do as a group is to make long lists of items that we need to buy in advance because they are not available in Mali. Question: how do archaeologists from outside Africa work with local archaeologists? Answer: we work very closely with local archaeologists. In fact, the last 2 excavations we did both at Gengeno and in Gen were at the request of Malian archaeologists. They had particular projects that they wanted to do and had raised funds for them. We knew those sites well, so they thought we could contribute to their work and we were very happy to do so. The Malian archaeologists also monitor preservation of the sites. Some of the sites are eroding badly. Others that are very remote are being looted. The Malians know most about the situation and what needs to be done to get information out before the deposits disappear. So we rely on them very much for our collaboration. Susan Keach, McIntosh and her colleagues at Gengeno, Mali. Her daughter in pink peeks out on the left.